What's up, friends and family out there? Fans, loyal subscribers now, because I know we're getting the numbers up. Yeah, every podcast that goes on, guys. Please, if you're watching, hit subscribe, hit like, share it around, show some love. We do this for you guys, so give us a little bit of love back.
Please, we beg you.
We beg you. We need it, honestly. I mean, we don't, but we do.
We really do. Let us know you're watching. So if you are watching, because I fucking seen those YouTube analytics and yous are fucking watching.
He's onto the analytics, guys.
So let us know. Post it on your Instagram. You don't have to post it. Put it on your story. Fucking tag us. Help us out.
Also, guys, feel free to drop comments. Tell us what you think about this. Any suggestions? We're open books. We're willing to take any feedback you guys give us, aren't we?
We're very willing to take feedback.
Very willing.
Always.
But look, man, enough about all that shit. Enough about the statistics. We got another guest. Very, very interesting guest. We're running it back to back. We're taking it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually got a little bit of fan requests.
This was requested.
This was requested by a few fans, actually.
3 or 4 people, I think, requested this.
Yeah, and I don't think we've actually had that before, but I can understand why. This man is a gym owner of a very standard gym. Pro fighter himself once upon a time. Former K1 junior middleweight Victorian champion.
For real?
K1 kickboxing, Japanese kickboxing for the people at home.
That's right.
He's had 18 fighters under his wing at a time. He's trained around 750 athletes. He's a Southern United Football Club strength and conditioning coach. Peninsula Strikers strength and conditioning coach.
Say the name.
He's the coach of Nishan Villapale from Melbourne Victory. Reese McKenna from Melbourne Stars. And he's got over 10 years of experience as a gym owner. So, quite an accolade. So, without further ado, Kosta Drak. Lakos!
You have a big Thank you, boys.
All right, brother.
Good.
Thank you for joining
Happy
us.
to have you here.
That's good. It's good. Share the story. You love it.
Honestly, like, I know I just said a whole bunch of shit, but I know there's so much more to that.
I think it was just closer. You said everything.
Thank you for watching, guys. But tell us about yourself, like, more personally. Like, obviously you're very established and you got a lot of shit that you've accomplished, but who's Kosta Drak?
Kosta Drak's now 30 years old. I started at gym at 20. That's talking about that. Just easygoing dude, and there's not much what else to say. I've had a gym pretty much, and I've just been in the health and fitness industry pretty much for my whole life. In the kickboxing, boxing scene from very young, and then taking this up as a full-time career. Started fighting when I was 16 years old, just a young amateur kid. Just on the local shows in a basketball stadium, and when turned 18, and then turned semi-pro, and then kept fighting, and then ended up winning a K1 Victorian title, as we said. So it's a bit of a background of fighting. That's how I got into the health and fitness industry. That was pretty much my first step, and then while I was fighting, people were always asking me, like, Kosta, can you train me? Like, I want to do this, or how do I be fit? How do I be strong? How do I kick? How do I punch? And then I loved it, man. I think I've always loved just, helping people. I think that's just something that I always had. I'm like, yeah, sweet, I'll help you. And obviously, then I finished year 12, and I was just doing, like, various jobs. I did everything, man. I did, like, 10 months in electrical apprenticeship. I've done roof tiling for a bit. I did tiling. I did carpet laying. Like, I did fucking, like, pretty much any trade under the sun. Coming from a WOG family, it was just like, if you don't go to university or if you don't become a trade, you're pretty much a nobody. You've got no hope. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty much the best way to say it to you. But I was just obsessed, man, with health and fitness from a very young age. Like, I was 18, and then just, I'll pick up a book and I'll read something, or I'll do a research, and then, pretty much straight out of school, I just went and enrolled in the Cert 3 and 4. Didn't know what to get myself into. I'm like, yeah, sweet, that's the bare minimum for the industry. Mind you, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I'm like, done, signed up, went to the full-time course out in Willis Hill, I think the gym's done now. I'm like, yeah, let's just do this course. So so I got qualified, did my cert 3 and 4. I was pretty much like nearly 19 before I got qualified, because back then it was like 9 or 10 months. And then I was still fighting and coming up the ranks, and people asking me, oh, let's train Kosta, like let's train me. I'm like, what do you want to do? Like, I'll just be fit, like I just said a couple minutes ago. And I said, yeah, no worries, like I'm more than happy to help you guys out. But obviously I did the cert 3 and 4, and then like it gave you a bit, like it gave you a little bit, but it didn't give you like the whole package, like to actually train someone and progress them. It was very short course, and like as we know, it's not. You need to keep upskilling, right? And you need to keep learning, right, to get better. And then if you're not learning, you're not growing. So it's just like a life thing. So I'm like, okay, how do I get better? Because people want to train. If people are asking me to train them, I want to be good. Yeah, I don't want to just do something. And I've always been my life. I want to do something. I want to do it properly. If I'm going to fight, I'm going to, pretty much dedicate it. And I stopped because I couldn't dedicate any more time. So, and then other life priorities and stuff take place. And then finished the cert 3 and 4. I went for a fair few job interviews, but they didn't really suit me and how I am as a person, if that makes sense. So, in a way, was like I go to interviews and it was all about cheeky sales tactics and how to upsell someone. But in my head, I'm like, these people don't need to train 5 times a week. Like when you go in the interview, like they're telling you what you need to do, but it didn't sit right in my stomach. I'm like, I want to do this to provide you what you need. And what's the best for you? The best outcome for you, if your schedule's that busy, I don't need to train you 4 times a week, right? We need to have about recovery, we need to talk about rest, we need to talk about nutrition, like, talk about your sporting, like what sport you play, when do you train? It's not about me, it's about the person you're training.
Absolutely.
So that didn't sit with me, and then I went to another interview, and then they were asking me to do like their own transformation, and then being a young kid, I'm like, oh look, I'm already fighting, I don't really need to do this because I've got like other things that I need to work on because I'm fighting, so I need to do my own weight cuts. I need to, I've got my own goals that I need to meet. I'm still in the health and fitness industry, like I'm fighting. I'm still doing things that need to be done, but it's not what you guys want me to do. Like I still know.
They wanted the before and after picture.
They wanted their before and after to suit, and then the guy turned around and they kind of kept me like stringing along, like, oh, doing very good here, like you're doing a great job. And then after like 7-8 weeks, I'm like, where do I stand? And they're like, oh, you have to do this. And I'm like, I've already told you that what I'm actually doing. And they're like, oh, you have to do this to see your before and after so people know you're leading by example. I'm like, well, I'm leading by examples because I've got other things that I'm currently doing. So I'm like, okay, that kind of fell out. The other gyms was all about sales tactics. And then I went to another gym and it was all rent based. So they just sat down with me and they're going, all right, week 1 it was 100, then 150, then 200, and 300. And I'm like, man, this sounds like impossible to do. Like, how am I actually going to make a living? Like, this is going to be too hard. And they just said, oh, we'll give you a lead and you call them up. But as you know, when people come sign up at those, cheap $9.95 gyms, they don't really want a personal trainer. They don't really want to get better. They just want to come, do their own thing and go out. So in my head, I'm like, I never want to be in that environment. I want to give people like what they actually need. Like those are always, like what you need, not what I want. It's what they need. So I'm like, I just said, fuck it, I'm just gonna do my own thing. I'm just gonna open up and then I was just sitting with a friend and he goes, what are you gonna do? I said, I don't know, man. I'm just gonna do my own thing. I don't know. What do I do? I said, I'm just gonna go to parks. They're like, yeah. I'm like, obviously I don't have any money. Growing up, having a single mum and stuff, there wasn't, didn't have an easy life. I had to work. Started working. I was 14 as a 14-year-old kid, in a butcher shop after school cleaning trays. And then working every Saturday morning, to make money and then save money for a car as you do. So obviously I'm like, I need to do something, even though I was doing all those apprenticeships and stuff. And everyone that I spoke to, they're going, you can't do this, man. You can't do health and fitness. You're an idiot. These things don't last. 6 months, you're out. Do you understand? People use it as a phase. In my head, I'm like, nah, man. I'm like, it's not a phase. Like, you're too delusional. Like, you know what you're talking about, Kosta. You're not going to survive, man. 1 year, you're out of this industry. Everyone that I spoke to, we're just constant. Don't do it. Get out. You need a backup. You don't have a backup, man. What's wrong with you? But in my head, I'm like, man, I want to do this. Like, I want to do it. Like, I just wanted to do it. I said, I want to do it. So I called up. So I'm very fortunate, with the gym that I was fighting out of. Michael Vukovic, good friend of mine, he actually gave me the space. And
Shout out Vuka.
shout out Vuka, good man, good promoter. And he gave me the space for a Saturday morning. So I was just there running a kickboxing class. I'm like, guys, obviously Facebook wasn't as big, Instagram wasn't around back then. I'm like, guys, 11 a.m, kickboxing class, come down. I was fighting. People used to come to watch the fight. You know, a friend would bring a friend. And then after that, I'm like, yeah, guys, we're there. I'm like, I need to do more for these people. So obviously I started doing one-on-ones on the side, and people were asking me, can you train me? I didn't have a space. You know, Vuka was because they were running their own stuff. He gave me that space for the Saturday morning. I'm like, all right, where do I go? All right, called Monash Uni. They had an outdoor gym area where they had like chin-up bars. I'm like, cool, I can make something work out of here. Started saving up some money, bought a couple of equipment, put them back in my car, took that down, did that. I'm like, all right, cool. What can I do now with not much? I'm like, all right, I'm going to start a running class. I'm going to prepare people for Run for the Kids, Melbourne Marathon. That's what people want to do. I'm like, I'm going to do that. Went to Duncan McKinnon on one of the nights, and I made it a running club, like event preparation. And then I did the boot camp on one night, and then did kickboxing the other day. So it was like 3 days like that, and then filling up the slots with one-on-ones in between. You know, if it's early mornings and you know, or whatever the times people were suited. And one thing led to another. So that's how I kind of started doing it all. And then after that, you know, came into the colder weather. And then, you know, Vukovic, very fortunate. He goes, oh, mate, would you like to use our space after hours? And I'm like, yeah. I said I'm all for it. I was just passionate, you know. I was just driven. Didn't know how to run a business. Didn't really know anything. I'm like, yeah, man, I'll love to use this space. He's like, okay, we finish here at 8 o'clock. You can start from 8 until 9. I'm like, all right, sweet, I'll do that. Mind you, then he's like, yeah, you can use the space. And then obviously, you know, I ran his classes and his programs. And then obviously when I finished, then I'll run my people that wanted to come in. So it was kind of like, you work for me and then you help build up. Yeah. So it was like that. And I'm like, cool. I love the kickboxing. I love the boxing side of stuff. But in my head, I'm like, yeah, then they were telling me like you have to be Kosta, you gotta get stronger. You gotta fight. You gotta have more power. You know, you don't have enough explosion. You know, I still was kind of, but I had no idea. The course taught me the basics, but I had no idea. I'm like, how do I actually get stronger? Like, you know, it's not your body. Like in my head, I'm like, it's not doing 50 push-ups, 50 sit-ups, 50 squats. It's in my head. I'm like, there's more to this. There's more to strength and conditioning than doing this. This is like more of a, you know, crash and bash, you know, kind of sessions. And mind you, this is early on, so I'm like, I need to. So I started going and asking coaches. Started going to different strength and conditioning gyms. Like I just Googled, and I was driving everywhere. You know, I was training at a place called Outlaw Strength in the mornings at 6 a.m. Still very young, didn't know exactly what I was kind of looking for, if that makes sense. And then I started doing my own research. Then I started buying books. And I'm like, you know, from people in America, I don't know if you guys know Joe DeFranco, Mark Repente. I'm like, okay, cool. This looks proper. I'm like, this looks legit. So I'm like, where's the system behind this? I'm like, where do I start? Like in my head, I'm like, where do I start the program? What's the first exercise that I do? Obviously, they taught you, you know, when you do the cert 3 and 4, like you do compounds and all that. But then it was about explosive power, which you didn't really learn that. I'm like, okay, that's what I need. I need to be fast. You know, I need to be strong. So I started researching more into that, and then I started to get more into that. And then one day, a football coach gave me a call. I remember I was driving, and he goes, "Hey, is this Kosta Drak?" I said, "Yeah, speaking." He goes, "Oh, I heard you train people, and you trained one of my girls, and she's lost over 20 kilos because obviously it was general fitness, and because she wanted to go back to playing at a high level soccer back then." I said, "Yeah, that's me," but it was just general fitness. Yeah, it was nothing specific. You know, put her on a decent diet back then, as you know, the bare basics, trained her for fitness, and then he goes, oh, you know, she's done really well. I want you to work with my athletes. I prepare people to go overseas. I'm like, whoa, man, like this is next level shit. Like,
go overseas and do what?
Play football, soccer. So it gets them ready here. He gets them ready with the ball work skills. And for me, I'm like, holy shit, man, this is like my third year in my career. Like this is mind blowing stuff. Like I was like, all right, yeah, man, I'll go happy to chat with you. Tell me what you're looking for. Like, what do you want out of me? So I know that if we can work together, because I'm not going to do something that I'm half-assed about. So so we caught up, we started working together, and then he goes, oh man, there could be an opportunity for you at Melbourne University. There's a diploma of football, sports development, but I was majoring in football. I go, man, I want to learn, let's do it. So I did the intern, so I was an intern there for just over a year. So every morning I was working with a high performance team there. So from like 7:30, 8 o'clock to about 11:30, I was working with them and then learning off them. And then after that, I would sit in the course and do the course content from 12 until 4. So I did that just to get better understanding, because these guys are like high level, man. Like, you know, high performance managers at Richmond Football Club. Like, you know, and they're all still doing amazing things. A couple of them are in Brisbane now, running the university, the athlete development stuff. So I'm like, what's not a better way to learn off these guys and actually be able? So I was constantly pickering, you know, and then obviously sending emails out to other S&C coaches, you know, what they believe in and what's their thoughts, what's their methods, what's their systems. Can I go shadow them? And then I just became obsessed, man. So I was pretty much there from 8 until, you know, 4 o'clock when I finished. And after that, I'll go on the train, and then I'll be in the gym from 5 until 9. And obviously, still back then, he wasn't making you money, yeah. So obviously, you're just starting out. You know, you need to provide, and you know, having a lot of pressure as well. You know, Kosta, what are you going to do in your life? Like, what are you actually going to do? You know, I'm like, I need to find a job, but I don't want to get a job that, you know, requires, you know, to be from 8 until 4, because I don't really have much time, or to do it because I was at the university, you know, studying there. So what I did was I went and got a job as night field at Coles. And first it was Safeway, actually, Woolworths. And I said, mate, I just want a night field job. And everyone, you're a bum. Why are you working there? You know, what are you doing that for? It's going to get you nowhere. I'm like, no, this is what I'm going to do. So I was working there from 10 o'clock at night, sometimes till 2 in the morning, 3, whatever the shift was, just to get by, stacking shelves. And I was just pretty much using that money to buy equipment, to better myself, to put into courses, to put into whatever needed to be done, and then slowly start saving up for a website, you know, start building that little stuff, because I had nothing. Yeah, I came up with a name with 747. I was just sitting down with my mate, like when we first started, he goes, what are you going to call this, Kosta? I'm like, I don't know. I just started Googling like every name under the sun. I'm like, Champion Fitness, taken. Intense Fitness, taken. I'm like, man, we just started talking. I'm like, Jet, 747, quickest plane, bang, 747 Fitness. He goes, what do you mean? I'm like, what's the quickest jet? And they go, it's the Boeing 747. I'm like, then I just got this vision. I'm like, a plane, and there's going to be a person running up the plane. And my slogan is...
Pretty creative.
And
pretty cool.
And I just, over a coffee, right? We're just sitting over a coffee and I go, that's my name, man. 747 Fitness. I'll Google it, there's nothing there. I'm like, cool, no name, no like 748 or 734, put it on Facebook, nothing comes up.
Nothing close.
I'm like, yeah, this is sick. You know, then obviously, you know, Vuka being my mentor early on as well, he goes, you need to have something that's really easy to remember. I'm like, 747, you can't forget that. Like, that's really thing. And then obviously my slogan is, while wait, take off today. So it's like, that was my slogan. And then on the back, there's a plane, there's a person, like I said, running up the plane. So that's how the name got created. Like, that's how 747, I started the name.
That's cool.
That's smart.
Yeah.
That's very smart, man. That's
It was just one of those things, man. It just kind of clicked, you know, just thinking of different names. And I don't know, we're talking about Jet and Boeing. And then, yeah, just kind of just came alive, really. And then, yeah, registered the name back in, you know, 2011, November, going back. And then, like I said, doing all that stuff, leading up to it. Then obviously I wanted to keep learning and growing, so I did that internship. And then I was like, and then obviously at a really high level, like seniors, you get exposed to high level S&C. And then obviously, mind you, I was still doing workshops while I was doing that internship on the weekend. If I could go out and, you know, do my functional movement screen, level 1, level 2, my ASCA, like, you know, all those credentials to make sure I did courses that I wanted to do, not because, this was popular in the industry. I actually looked the ones that are going to benefit me and where I want to be to. Because then that's when I started to get more into the athlete stuff, like through that course, through that person, Tim Dacus, the coach. He's like, that's the reason why I was like, all right, cool. Like, now we need to ramp it up. And then, you know, obviously got to start looking, how can I make these people better? You know, testing protocols, how to measure if they're getting better, where's my system? So that's how I've kind of became more obsessed with the athlete development stuff, because I knew there was nothing really around. And then, like, even one of the questions someone asked me to answer, they're like, why do you prefer training junior athletes? And in my head, I'm like, because no junior athlete is exposed to this. No one gives a shit about the juniors.
Yeah,
no one cares about the kids, but they should be having the strongest foundation for long-term sporting success. And for me, if I can leave a good mark on these kids, I don't care where they go in 10 years' time. I help them create who they are and how they warm up. You know, I've had kids now 5-6 years, you know, and then they're coming to that period of, you know, coming to that senior environments, signing, senior contracts and stuff. But I help them You know, I'm not saying I'm not taking full credit because obviously they need to be good at their sport or whatever they're doing. But I helped them that little bit, you know, to be able to be in that, you know, and not to get injured and be able to perform at a high level, you know, and then put protocols for their nutrition, put protocols for their recovery. And that's what I'm like, you know what? And that's what I'm like, I love these juniors because, you know what? I can mold them and I can show them the difference. And then me being the difference from just being a crash and bash coach, you know, or come in and just, yeah, let's go 30 star jumps, 30 push-ups, you know, what's that? There's no structure in that. And that's when I started developing my systems and my structure. I'm like, okay, cool. And that's when I just started falling in love with the juniors, you know. And obviously I was still training general pop, and I still do train general pop. But kids just, I don't know, they just give me so much life. And for me, watching them grow up, like for me, it's like, man, I had you when you were 10, 11. Now you're like 17, 18. Like I'm helping them, you know, choose their career path. They're calling me like a mate. Like, you know, they look up to me. And for me, I want to be able to guide, you know, young kids as best as possible. Like for me, I love it. I want them to be like, you know what, I want to be able to go to you and for me to give them advice about life and then help them be on the right path. And, you know, and I teach and everyone and all the young kids, you know, like now they're finishing school. So they're a bit lost, yeah? Where's my next step? What do I do? And I always say, what do you enjoy doing? Go fucking do it, man. Go do it. Go study it. Don't worry about listening to Finger. Go do what you want to do and you'll make it work. You know, I've came from nothing. Everyone told me to give this up. Yeah. Every time for the first probably 4 or 5 years. And then people were like, shit, man, like he's actually doing okay. That's because I was passionate and I loved it. And I loved the people that I trained.
I was going to say, what I want to know is, in the fitness industry, I was in the fitness industry for 7 years. Yeah. From 19 to 26.
Yeah.
My main problem with the fitness industry was like a bunch of egos in the fitness industry, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people are in the industry for the wrong reasons. We were speaking about it before.
Yeah.
That it's a glamorous looking lifestyle.
That's
It's sexy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's a lack of good people in the fitness industry, like good, honest people.
100%.
And they have this switch, and it'd be fighting coaches as well. They have this switch where they're not a good person outside of their coaching. Yeah. But then in their coaching, they're empowering and they're this and they're that and they're that and they're this amazing person that's helping these people with all these things, but they're a bad person outside of it. And I hate that shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I want good people in this industry. I want you to actually fucking care about these people because they're fucking humans, dude.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, as you said before at the very start, like, I'm not doing sales tactics to make sure they come in 5 times a week. I want to help that person.
Yeah, that's right.
So why is it that, I don't know how to put this, why is it that you give a fuck so much? Why do you care about helping people so much?
Because I think that's why I was put on this planet, to help as many people as I can.
Yeah.
And I love it, and I want to guide them. That's why I said I love the juniors, because you watch them grow up, you're like, man, I remember you when you were a 12-year-old kid, man. Now you're 18. Yeah. You know what I mean? Now you're 19. Now you're 20. Do you know what I mean? And then you're setting up for a good career path away from this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's good. You know, I've got students now. They're studying sports science because of me. They love it. Like, man, I love this shit. But people tell me not to do it. I said, don't listen to anyone. You do what you want to do.
Did you have a mentor yourself growing up? Because like I find with my experience in like fighting gyms, like I've been to a few different gyms and like I've met a lot of great people, but a lot of coaches will coach you to be a killer, to be a fighter, whatever. But they're not necessarily, like Matt was saying, they're not necessarily good people. They don't lead by example. I found that, like for me coming up, I was lucky to just stumble upon my coach, Mem, who,
legend,
great bloke. Shout out, Mem, great bloke. Leads by example. Will never tell me to do something that he hasn't done. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
And I find that now that's had an impact on me without even realizing. Now when I'm coaching my own students, I'm trying to lead by example.
Yeah.
Whereas
100%.
I find that's something that's like a little bit rare in the industry. And did you get that from, was there a mentor you had coming up?
Probably, look, when I was fighting, and obviously, you know, and I've trained a fair few fighters in the amateurs, it would have been through my experience with Michael and Ryan. They're the ones that took me on board when I was 18, and you know, and I had a fair few fights. You know, I had a good time fighting. You know, as a pastime, and they were honest with me from the start. You know what I mean? This wasn't going to be a $200,000 payday fights. They were honest, man, and that's why everyone that I've had in the ring and represented me, I've told them from the start. It's very rare to have that you know, but always be honest from the start. It's very rare. If you're thinking here, you see Conor McGregor, different ball game, brother.
Enjoy your couple $100.
That's exactly right. So if you're doing this for the money, there is no money. And if it is, it's very rare. You know, but I'm not here to sell the dream. And I'm here for the industry, I'm here to be honest. I'm here to, you know, and lead by example and actually tell them what's really real, you know, and how it actually kind of really works. Not what they see on TV and think it's so glamorous and, you know, they're going to be racking money in and walking around in brand new suits after a fight. Like,
because that's a massive pull. I'm sure you would experience like hundreds of people come into your gym and rack it out for about a week or two.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, because they just watched the latest UFC and
that's
they
exactly
think
right.
It's going to be sick.
And after a show, you know, after one of those big UFCs, you know, I'll get a message like, "Oh, let's start training." You know, did you see that knockout? Can I do this? It's not that easy. It takes a long time, you know, and. So that was and obviously, you know, in the time while I was doing the strength and conditioning and then training, you know, a few fighters on the side as well, while I was doing my 8 to 9 o'clock classes and stuff as well. That was me just, you know, using my experience from fighting, and I was still fighting and actually training a few amateurs at the same time that I was putting on the show. But then whatever I learned over the years and whatever I used and whatever it worked for me, then I started doing it with my guys. How
did you actually get into fighting? Like, what made you want to fight in the beginning?
It was actually funny. Do you know Tastatiris?
Tas the Greek, yeah.
Yeah, he was
Shout
he was from the area, and I was from the area too. I'm like, fuck, this looks sick, you know. Like, this is a good sport, you know. And I'm like, I want to do it. He's like, oh, it's actually a really hard sport, Kosta, to do. I'm like, yeah, well, I'll do it, man. I want to do it. And then I went to the gym in Clayton where he was at. And then he hit me like we were sparring, and then I was seeing stars, you know, and I was dazed. But then I didn't even know where I was going. But I remember I was just trying to swing back at him, and I could see like a double, and I could see the roof. But I was just moving forward and just trying to throw any punch I could to him. And he's like, man, he goes, because you know, I've had like 15 odd fights, man. He goes, you can take a hit. He goes, you can take a punch. He goes, you should do it. And then before then, obviously I had my first fight at 16. You know, where I'm now Sting, they didn't have any juniors, so I was fighting at a gym in the city, and they could provide for juniors, people under the age of 18 with, you know, headgear and shin pads. So I went there, and I just did their classes there a night, and then I think I was there for about 2 months, and the guy goes, "Who wants to fight next shot?" I'm like, "Me." I fought like 3 times in my whole life. I'm like, "I'll fight." Yeah, sweet. He's like, "Yeah, you want to fight?" I'm like, "Yeah." Then I called Tas. I go, "Man, I'm fighting." He's like, "Yeah, sweet." So we're going to a park and we were sparring in the park. Like I was just a young kid, you know, and he was getting me ready. And so we trained there, and then he took me to my first ever amateur fight down in Coburg, San Ferials. And then I had a fight there, and I'm like, oh, this is cool, you know, all the boys came from the area, like it was just a sick atmosphere. Like it's being young kids, you know what I mean? Like you never forget those memories, you know. And then we all caught the train back home, and you know, being young, you know what I mean? Running amok through the streets of Coburg, having no idea we're all from the southeast, you know. We're getting lost getting to the train station. So it was How'd
you go your first fight?
I didn't lost on points.
You lost on points,
yeah. But it was just a sick experience, man. Like it was an unreal experience. And then after that, I'm like, I want to do it again, but I'm like, I still didn't know like how to train, because I was just very green. Like, how do I train for this? And then again, like 5-6 weeks later, they're like, who wants to fight? There's like an exhibition, like it was on mats, so like winner stays on. I'm like, yeah, I'll fight. I just love fighting. I'm like, this is cool. So obviously I was watching like Zambides, and like I was very, you know, idolised him, and you know, loved the whole scene and learning as well. Then I was training with Tas as well. He was training me for a bit, and then he goes, oh, and then they call me up. They go, there's a show, like there's a like interclub kind of thing on mats. Like, who wants to jump on? I said, yeah, I'll jump on. And then it was like a winner stays on kind of thing. So I ended up winning like 4 fights, lost the final.
That's hectic.
Yeah, it was like 1 round, like 2.5 or 3 minutes, wherever it was. And they had
like karate tournaments.
Yeah, it was like that, because I think it was where I was part of a karate thing, and they had like blue and red thing, and they just put the flag up, and I stayed on. Then it was like 9:30, 10 in the morning. I went by myself. I put my bike on the train, got off in the city, and I rode there. I called Tas when I got there. I'm like, hey man, I just did this tournament. Like, he's like, well, I'm like, yeah man. Then he came to the train, picked me up. I had this trophy. Like, I was like the happiest kid, and I was still 17 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and then after that I turned 18. Then I went, you know, into Sting, and then they took care of me, and then really helped me, and then really followed like what it's actually to be more of a fighter. So it was just more, and then and all the amateurs that I have, and obviously, it took me, I had 4 or 5 years of fighting before I did my first guy that I put on a show. It was just more like, what, I want to give you what I didn't have, and I want to guide you as best as I can, and be there for them as best as I could. And that's why that's why I started training fighters and put so much, effort into the amateurs, because I was like, cool, I want to give you more, man. I want to be able to be there and support you guys, because it's a daunting sport. And then give them the experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's interesting how much support you want to build around the juniors, because I always say that in Australia there's a lot of support for juniors in footy, and a few other very popular sports,
but not in soccer.
Pardon?
Not in soccer.
Not in soccer, not in
right.
boxing.
Correct.
If you want to do wrestling, I
Yeah.
feel like the only big things are athletics, footy, and
You're right.
cricket. Maybe even if there's not even really anything for cricket. In terms of
That's actually a really good point. Going towards more down the athlete development side, and the strength and conditioning was in my head. I played soccer when I was younger too, under 10s, 11, 12. You do part of growing up. There was no such thing, man. There was no such thing as a proper warm up. Coach would come there and flog you. You know what I mean? You run laps.
You're static stretching.
Yeah, you're static stretching. Your long, slow distance running. How's that going to help you perform better?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when I was like, all right, cool. Doing all that studying and learning, and keep doing courses, keep talking to coaches. Keep upskilling. I went to Germany in 2017 as well to look how they do it. The SNC as well.
Yeah,
big clubs, Ajax, Borussia Dortmund, Schalke. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's see what they do.
Germany state funded.
What do you mean?
The government pays for all these programs.
I don't know, man. They're like big clubs, like the Melbourne Victory, but they do it 10 times better.
Yeah.
When I went there as an SNC coach for one of the football academies that I worked there, I paid my way there. I did everything, but I trained those kids for recovery to be able to perform better. But I still wanted to interact with those coaches too and see how they do stuff. What can I bring back to here?
Yeah.
How can I make these athletes? Because obviously I do a lot of soccer, because there's nothing really here for it, and people don't respect it. But what I want to do is I want to change the way people think about athlete development, SNC, and high performance. So all these roles that I have, I've made these roles up. They haven't been existed. So Southern United didn't have a strength and conditioning coach proper before that. I've been there for 5 years. The academies that I work for, I've been with them, for 7, 8 years, because they understand what I'm trying to do. But it takes ages, because everyone that I talk to don't believe, fuck, you don't need this, you don't need that, you don't need to be doing that. But when you actually start to explain to the coach and sit them down and you tell them what needs to be done, then they go, okay, cool. Now I know what he means by right warm up. Now I know what he means about him changing it from being so static, because we don't stay still in a sport, we have to turn it more dynamic. Now I know what he means about sprints, because we have to be able to react quick to the stimulus of the game. It's not about long, slow distance running. So me changing, all right, cool, how's our pre-season look? It's not about flogging. There's a time and place for that, but how do we periodize that? How do we, get to that, 3-4 weeks and rise the tempo and then drop deload? And then get him to understand more of that science-based and educating more the coaches. So that's what I love, because there's nothing really out there, but I want to create the change, especially with the juniors. They're not exposed to it. They don't get taught how to jump. They don't teach taught how to land. That's how they get injured. No one gets taught how to run. Half the kids run on their heels. Parents come in, they see me. I've been to a physio, I've been to a chiro. I fix their running form in 20 minutes. I think I'm a god. I'm not really a god. I just watch a kid run. I fix his bit of mechanics, because your son was smashing his heel on the ground. You don't run like that. Now I know why you're getting all this knee pain. So the thing with me is, it's like the more that I can empower and then show the parents what I'm doing, show the coaches what I can do, the better the industry is going to be as a whole. So that's where I'm trying to head to, and really change the way people think. More in the fitness game, and that's why I'm so passionate and so obsessed with it, because nothing's really been created, and I know how wrong it is out there, and people are still doing it wrong.
Yeah.
And clubs, and then clubs don't want to invest.
Yeah.
They don't want to invest in me, but they'll go pay $1,000 a week.
Yeah.
But there's no SNC coach, but he gets injured, but he's still going to get $1,000 a week.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you be smarter and then have someone so that they can do prevention, right, injury prevention, and then be able to play every game? But you know what these clubs do? They'll wait for him to get injured, and then they do something.
Yeah.
Send him to
It's
a
too
physio.
late. It's
Send
too
him to a
late.
physio.
To the physio, and then they call me and say, "Oh, help him, man. Is he getting better? Is he getting better?" No, not really, man. 6 weeks away. Oh shit.
Yeah.
We need him back for this week.
Yeah.
Or they're looking for free strength and conditioning coaches.
Yeah, that's right.
Christian Woodford always posts about that shit. Shout out Woody.
Yeah, that's right. And then me and Woody get along really well. We talk about this stuff all the time.
And it's good to see the passion in the industry.
Yeah.
But it's like you look on Seek for strength and conditioning coach, and like 3/4 of the jobs advertised for free.
There's no respect.
Yeah,
you know?
there's no respect.
It shits me, you know. I get calls all the time, and it's like, I'm actually delivering you something proper here.
Yeah.
Like I'm giving you unbelievable service.
Yeah.
It's not just rock up, take a session.
Yeah.
And I've lost gigs like that. People, you know, I tell them what needs to be done, you know, the wellness, your testing, your session. They come back, it's too expensive. They go to the local personal trainer up the road.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they pay next to nothing. And then they call me back in 8 weeks' time saying they've got 6 people out. Because all they're doing is crash and bashing them. But I've told them from the start, that is not going to work. They don't believe me, and until they actually start to see it.
Yeah.
So, and that's the problem with this the biggest problem with this industry right now is there's no everyone can get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no benchmark. You go get your Cert 3 and 4 online. How can you do a Cert 3 and 4 online when this job requires you talking to people?
Yeah.
It doesn't work. But they still want to pump you out. All these courses want to pump you out. And then I'm getting people sending me their resumes in. I've done it online. They come in, they can't even shake my hand and talk to me.
Yeah.
This job is all about relationship building, right? And then talking to the individual and then talking to groups and how to get them better. But then, and what you see, it's like, there's so many people getting pumped in and pumped out.
When I got qualified in 2013 or 2012, I think the average lifespan of a personal trainer was 18 months. I think now it's about 6 months.
Yeah.
I think the average lifespan of a fucking personal trainer is 6 months.
Yeah.
Which is wrong.
Yeah, it's
so fucking wrong. It should be regulated.
That's exactly right. And then there is there's no system. Everybody can get into it. Anybody can get qualified.
And anyone can pass. That's the problem.
Anybody can pass.
Because anyone should be able to start studying. But not everyone should be able to pass.
And it shits me too, you know. And the problem with this industry is a lot of people put a title on it. Yeah, I'm a strength and conditioning coach. Yeah. I'm a high performance coach. I'm an athlete development coach. You know, I get resumes. I get people like even clubs that people send their resumes and CVs. It's like because you go to school. You know, you do your Cert 3 and 4. And you're specialising in 15 things.
Yeah.
Of 15 things with no experience.
Yeah.
I can do hypertrophy, I can do strength, I can do power, I can do boxing, kickboxing. And you're like, mate, it's not about that. Like when I first started, I've got no shame. I just trained the general pop. I've got no shame. I trained people for general fitness. And that's all I did.
Yeah.
You know, I never trained a fighter in my first year and a half, 2 years. I never trained an athlete for the first 3. You know, it took a while to get there. But then the more I was learning, the more experience and the more I wanted to do, and the more I wanted to explore, and the more I wanted to expose myself to more different environments and be out there in different environments, in different clubs, in different stuff to learn off other people.
Yeah,
it's good that you can start seeing now that there's some facilities that are trying to implement bachelors of sports science or exercise physiologists and things like that. As a minimum, like they're trying to phase out the Cert 3 and 4s. Like I know one of the gyms next door to my house is like, I've looked at like all their personal trainers all have a Bachelor of Sports Science, minimum. And there's maybe 1 or 2 who've done the Cert 3 and 4, but they're well established. Like they've got like a whole array of, you know, athletes who they've trained and trialed and tested and out there. But I think that's definitely the way that things should go because, like you said, sports are developing and like training is developing and there is no more crash and bash and, you know, run until you're burnt out. Now there's like different methods to it where less is more.
Yeah, that's
Even
right.
like, especially in fighting, like, I definitely came up with a whole like do 1,000 sit-ups until you're wrecked and then, you know, you try to rock up to training the next day and you get 5% because that's all you've got.
Yeah, because you've got nothing left.
Yeah, but now, like, as the sport's growing more and more and more, there's that sports science approach to it that people are still feeling good. Like, you're going home and you're feeling like you can still live your life.
Yeah, you don't need to go hard every day. But that's when the periodization comes into it. And that's what I deal with clubs and, you know, I deal with individual coaches. It's like, okay, cool. Here we go easy and then here we go hard. You know what I mean? Let's build it up and then we deload. You know what I mean? That's the best for me as a strength and conditioning, you know, being in the industry, it's not about how fast they are. It's not about how well. Can I keep every single person injury free? That's all I care about. Soft tissue injuries. I can't control what happens, but if I can stop hamstring strains, if I can stop, groins, if I can stop, little stuff like that, for me, I'm like, you know what, you've gone there the whole year with no injuries. I'm really happy.
100%.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's about them. It's not like me saying, oh, look how quick he is. Look, he's smashing. That's because of me. It's like, yeah, that's going to be a little benefit. But then again, people talk about, speed and all that. A lot of it's got to do with genes. I can only help them to a certain extent.
Yeah.
So it's all little stuff too, but with people, that's what I'm saying. I never want to sell bullshit because a lot of them comes from your parents and the way they were. It's how quick you're gonna be, or you're gonna be fast switch or slow switch, And I do testing as well, and I look at kids, their yo-yo, which is an endurance test, like a 20, and then you look at their speed. Okay, it's very thinner, so they're very slow switch dominant, right? They're never ever going to be probably the most fastest, athlete over 20 meters, but they'll have a big engine. And then you have to work with that. You know what I mean? You work this strengths and weaknesses. But that's what I'm saying. There's more to this industry than just crashing and bashing it.
Fucking oath there is.
Yeah. So it's just How
So-
boys, all right?
So I just want to know, like, what sort of plans do you have for your gym down the line? I know at the moment you're doing a lot of clubs, you got a lot of fighters. You even have a coaching program that you're doing. Is that correct? Or
I do have interns that come to me like personal trainers, and I help them mentor them. You know what I mean, and give them, if they're passionate. And it's obviously just through the industry, really. By next year, especially, I've got a new coach on board as well, Brainer. He's been doing it for 7 years. You probably know him as well.
boxer?
Yeah, he just fought pro boxing. Yeah.
From Stand Up Fitness. Yeah, I've seen it.
He works for me now as well. So we're very, very passionate. He's done his sports science. So what I really want to do is I want to develop the next batch for people coming through. I don't care if it's Cert 3, I don't care if it's Cert 4. I want to be able to deliver, workshops and then, even just running nights for parents to actually get a better understanding of what needs to be done. Because high performance SNC is still really dead. More football's good, AFL, but in the soccer world, it's not really that good. And in the fight game especially, there's nothing, man. And if I could, there's some people in Sydney doing amazing things with SNC, and I've seen it from a fight perspective. But here in Melbourne, there's not that many, if any, really. So if I could change that and change the way people think, and for me, that's still my job.
Yeah,
that's what I really want to get to.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. I feel like that's it. That's the natural development is that fucking you want to start coaching coaches.
I just want
to start teaching your brand, your style of training.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
To people and then watching that spread.
You can still go hard, but have a structure to it.
Yeah.
Don't just go, crash and bash.
Yeah.
Have a system.
Which I feel like Instagram and social media is really damaging in a lot of ways.
It is.
Like with fucking some hot girl can just
100%
start online coaching with fucking nothing, and just that's what they're doing.
Yeah. It's all cookie cutter programming.
100%.
And it's not a one size fit all approach. They just give you that.
Yeah.
They just make up 2 programs, be in advance, and you take that. It's like, hold on.
Yeah.
You can't do that, but you can.
Yeah.
Your hips are not supposed to be doing that deep squat. Past injuries you don't even ask.
Yeah.
So just little stuff like that just kind of makes my blood boil, because it's like
100% fucking makes me really angry as well.
Yeah.
But Instagram is also really good because it sort of holds people accountable, I feel, because you can't just like hide away and be a shit trainer anymore. Like you definitely can, but it's really hard because that's the main marketing tool, Instagram, pretty much for all coaches now.
Yeah.
And so there's becoming like this big standard, I feel, of whether it's fucking fat loss transformation training or whether it's strength and conditioning. It's like you're posting it for the whole world to see, and every coach has got 50 other coaches on Instagram and Facebook and stuff, and they're all posting their stuff and you're posting your stuff.
Yeah.
So it's everyone's sort of getting held accountable.
Yeah, that's right.
To deliver good, solid training.
I agree with you 100%, but there's still a lot of crap out there that that trainers put on. And you look at their stories, you're going, you're just posting that for the sake. Like, you're making someone run up a hill. You know what I mean? And you train, they use the word like, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's always crazes. Like, first there was CrossFit.
Yeah.
CrossFit was a massive craze. Everybody was doing CrossFit. You know, then again, you know, people were getting put on jobs, so 3 and 4 would not even know about having a CrossFit.
Yeah.
And then the next, you know, another craze came out was high performance. Whoa, big title. Look, I'm a high performance coach, and people, you know, people get that buzz. And then what's high performance? Like, and then I spoke to some people that put that on the title. They can't even tell me what it means.
Yeah.
They can't even tell me what their job title is. I'm like, what do you mean by high performance? Oh, like, yeah, I'm really good and I get people really strong and fit.
Yeah.
How do you do that? Yeah, I train them hard.
Yeah.
It's not about
It's
that.
like usual performance, but
Yeah.
I
Except higher.
I set the bar
Yeah,
high.
that's right. And then you look at athlete development. Oh, shit, you athlete development coach. For me, it's like, I don't care, man. I'm here to do a job. I'm here to get them better. It's high performance, strength and conditioning, athlete development, whatever you want to call me. At the same time.
F45.
Pardon?
Another phase. F45.
F45, yeah, all those, you know.
That's the current one, isn't it? Yeah.
That's
Body
F40
fit, F45.
Body fit as well. Yeah, that's another.
What
know,
are your views on that? Those sort of.
Yeah, good for the general pop.
Yeah.
You know, it's they go there, get a sweater on. You know, that's what they want. That's all they deliver. You know, but you know, I've seen some F45.
Leave it there. Like, you stay doing that.
Yeah, that's your lane.
That's your fucking lane.
That's what you specialise
Yeah.
in. You know, but don't come to me with some of their own and say I'm a high performance coach.
Yeah.
You know, I train athletes. It's not really an athlete's program.
No.
You know,
no.
it's
a bit of fun.
yeah, just
a bit of fun.
Yeah,
I swear.
you know, they know what it is. It's a high intensity.
Yeah.
You know, 45 minutes in and out, and that's what they deliver.
One of the good titles coming out over the past like 2 years is people calling them, like personal trainers calling themselves mindset coaches.
Oh,
Mindset
yeah,
coaches.
I've heard
And I'd say 75% of the people who are calling themselves a mindset coach
Yeah.
have fucking
Bad.
demons on
themselves,
fucking
yeah.
demons.
Standard,
up there.
standard.
Like they've got their mental is like not sorted whatsoever, and
Yeah.
they're a mindset and wellness coach.
That's right.
And it's like, I saw you on Saturday doing coke. I fucking saw that
Yeah.
shit, and you had a fucking mental breakdown.
100%.
And you're a mindset coach. Like,
And the way they
please.
put it up on social media, you know what I mean? Like they,
Yeah.
the way they put their persona, you see them in real life, you're like, mate, you're nothing.
You're
like
not.
And that's what I was
You're-
sort of
you're-
alluding to before.
You're
With
nothing like the way you are. You know what I mean? I meet people out, and they're two different people.
be a good people, be a good person the whole
The
fucking
whole
time.
lot.
Not
That's
just when
right.
you're coaching.
Yeah,
like
that's
not
right.
this fucking persona.
Yeah.
Be that person all the time.
100%.
All the fucking time.
Yeah, that's what the industry. That's what. Yeah, like you said, mindset coach. It's like, hold on, you're a mindset coach at 21 years old. You got no life experience. What's a life coach? Like, how are you a life coach?
Yeah,
You know,
with
many,
no life
you know how many
experience.
people have hit me up on Facebook. I'm like, what have you done? Like, I've done everything. I'm like, what's everything, man? You're 21 years old. What,
Yeah.
what have you actually done? Like, you probably have never lost a house. You've
I did a
never gone-
Kentucky. I did
Yeah,
a
that's
Kentucky
right.
tour.
You've never gone bankrupt. And the other one is like the other one now too. It's like, oh, people $10,000 business coaches too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
such a big.
Oh
Every two scrolls on Facebook, it's
Oh
like
my
learn
God.
how to turn your business
Yeah, into
from.
this. I love-
Online is the future. Make
That's right.
$30,000
That's
in the
right.
next month.
And it's funny because I've had a few people hit me up like that, and one guy goes, "Oh, you know, I'll make like $400,000." I've still got this conversation saved. Goes, "Oh, from my laptop." I go, cool. I go, send me your P&L statement, profit and loss statement. Oh, nah.
But what's that?
Yeah, that's right. I was waiting for that
Yeah.
next. But like, it was just like a young kid, you know what I mean? Like, but people in the industry buy into that.
Yeah.
And there's so much shit, and then they get burnt, and they don't want to go see anybody else.
There's something about hearing a confident person on the internet through like some sort of sponsored video
Yeah.
Yeah.
that makes people just want to invest their faith in
Yeah,
it.
They're like,
you know,
I used to be a drug addict.
Yeah.
I used to be down in the dirt.
Yeah, that's right.
And then I started this. And
Yeah, that's
now I-
exactly right.
it's 2021's version of those late night TV ads.
Infomercials.
Infomercials,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
100%.
And regardless of what day and age we're in, people will always buy something like that.
Which is, yeah. And then, like, again, and the bad thing about this industry is, like, mate, I've got a few followers on my Instagram, but they're all real followers. I haven't bought anybody.
They're real people, yeah.
They're real people. They're clients or friends of friends, like, from
Thank
here.
you.
And that's the thing. People pay for these big marketing strategies.
Yeah.
And they just know how to suck you in.
Yeah.
I'm not about that, man.
Yeah.
People have got like 40,000 followers and they get like 30 likes on each post.
Yeah, that's right. And it's like those fake comments, those fake comments that
Yeah.
come up. You're like, dude, you don't even know these people when you read through them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's all that sort of stuff too, which is kind of, you know, sickening in the industry to see. But that's how it is, you know. But then obviously, if I can, you know, show people how it really is and how it really should be done, like I've done my job. And the
Yeah.
more people I can empower, and that can change, and then change the way of thinking, change the way of their methods and all that. And like I've done my
You've done
job,
your job.
and I've done it better. So every time I train someone, like I always give it 100%. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to make sure you're coming to me. I want to help you. And
Because
obviously,
you actually care.
yeah,
It's
and
not just a gimmick.
and like I've only got 2 people that work for me now, but the thing is, they care before anything else,
Yeah.
and that's all I care about.
Yeah.
Like they'll do a follow up without me saying anything.
Yeah.
For me, it's like my care for my people. I'll always be there for them. All my clients, no matter what, I'll help them out as best they can to reach their full potential. If it's just weight loss, if it's to get better sporting performance, if it's to help them, if I can help them fight off some demons, you know what I mean, and give them a better strategy, like I'm there for them. And so like what you said, it's how much you care. And I've had coaches that come in with the biggest ego that want to work for me, and they've got amazing qualifications.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice
but-
knowledge.
Yeah,
Knowledgeable.
unbelievable, man. But like, then they come to the bottom line. They're just chasing cash.
Yeah.
Number one. Yeah, we all have to make money, but do it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't want to do it the right way.
Yeah, for sure.
One person comes in and go, I want to upsell them. Cost them 2. I want to do them 3. I'm like, there's no need for 3, mate. I've had this person for 4 years. You're not doing that to my person.
Yeah, yeah.
If you don't like it, go. It's like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah, really, man. So I'd rather stay small, but be true to myself, and then still have that vision and that mission of just creating quality and what people actually need.
I was actually just gonna fucking bring it there. So we've just come out of COVID. We're still sort of in it. How do you run a gym through COVID?
Yeah, it was tough.
How'd you go?
Yeah, it was tough, but you know what? I never stopped. I got into this industry to help people,
Yeah.
and I always brought it back to my why. Every time I was thinking, I got into this to genuinely help people to be better. Yeah. So
Yeah.
for me, it's like I've got a team, I've got clients, I've got 2 coaches. I need to lead by example. What can I do? I got to stand up.
Yeah.
Restrictions came out, looked it up, spoke to my graphics designer. Big shout out to Mark. He helped me out a lot. through
Shout out
this.
Mark.
Shout out to Mark. He helped me out a lot. I said, what needs to be done? Online timetable. This is what we're doing. Bang. Roll it out. Boom. Everybody got a message. Guys, this is what we're doing. We're
Yeah.
on to this. Cool. We can do it outdoors in a 5K radius. Bang. Let's do it. You're in the 5. They're in your 5. They're in your 5. Boom. Hit these people up. Done. Try to keep people mentally and physically throughout the whole time. Like I did whatever I could to keep everybody going. And then I always brought it back. I'm like, I wasn't going to sit there and just live off the government funding, the 750. Because the government, all they're trying to do is just make you weak and rely on them. I wasn't here to rely on the government. I was here to survive my business.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kept majority of my people on board because I kept doing stuff throughout the whole lockdown.
Yeah.
I drove to parks to find out where there's parks with lights. I went and paid for permits for different parks. Mind you, I'm still got a gym rent going on. But still, you know what? I got to stand up. Like in my head, I'm like, I need to stand up. I need to lead by example. Called local parks. There's lights on. They put the sensor on. From 7 p.m. when it got dark, I had lights on. I had undercover. No excuses. I kept everybody going.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
So,
Amazing, man. Not
Yeah,
a lot of
so
people would have done that for...
pardon?
Not a lot of people, I think, did that for their clients.
No. So
but-
it was like, okay, online. Cool. 3 months. Sweet. Let's do it. Let's set up mini challenges. Let's go. Keep everybody motivated. Keep people going. Cool. What can I do now? Yep. We're outside boot camp. Everybody. We're at this park. We're at this park. Park one trainer there. Park myself here. Keep everybody going. Keep everybody moving.
Fuck yeah.
Amazing.
And yeah, like how you've obviously brought everyone back once restrictions lifted and you're able to open again, just speaks to the community and the vibe and atmosphere you've obviously built at the gym.
Yeah, that's right.
Like it's not easy to do that.
Yeah, that's
It's
right.
not easy at all to create such a community vibe. Like I've been there. I know how fucking hard that shit is.
It's
Like,
hard. It's
and it takes a lot of energy and
a lot of
of
energy, a lot of effort.
Yeah.
A lot of hours, a lot of calls, messages. But you know what? We do this because I love it.
Yeah,
You know
fuck
what I mean?
yeah.
I love it, and I got into this to help people. So every time I was thinking like this is getting hard, it's like no, man, I need to stand up.
But
There's-
it's worth it.
There's no excuses, man. Everyone. I was speaking to other personal trainers. No, I'm not buying. I'm not getting a permit. Why not? Oh, nah. There's no undercover. It's too dark. Every excuse that I was hearing under the sun, the people that are mental. So I'm like, man, we gotta push through this. We gotta be the.
Sorry, I thought I stumbled on well.
We're in the ghetto. We're in the
I
ghetto.
love it. Yeah, so it was about standing up. Yeah, got to stand up. Got to lead the team, lead my clients, lead everybody on a good, healthy lifestyle, and keep it mentally strong because a lot of people suffered.
Yeah.
A lot of people are struggling mentally, but you know what? You give them that training edge. It helps them. And we all know how important exercise is, and
Definitely.
how much it can change on you, and the benefit that it has on you. So I was like, you know, people go to me, oh, you know, I've had messages, other trainers, other gym owners saying, oh, you're very lucky to have the people that came back to you. I'm not lucky.
You created that.
I'm not
Yeah,
lucky.
you worked for that.
I'm
You
not,
created
I
that shit.
told them straight, I'm not, there's no luck. I kept everybody going. I worked through the whole of COVID. I kept everybody informed. I've kept newsletters going. I did, you know, Facebook groups. I gave tips. I gave things to do in the mornings. I gave people morning routines. I gave people home programs to do with what they had to deal with. And that's it. A lot of people getting in the industry, but as bad as this sounds, they're getting into it because they never wanted to do anything over the last 18 months. They wanted to stay there and live off the government money, and now they're expecting for people to come back. Why would you come back when you've done nothing? I can't expect, if I don't talk to you for 18 months, I can't expect to call you and say, hey, Samad, I'm open, bro, come down.
Yeah.
Like, what have you done for me? Where you been?
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
little stuff like that, you know. So it was just, yeah, it was challenging, but I'm always up for a challenge, man. Like, I've never had anything easy, so I'm like, you know what, let's go. Like, this is...
I'm sure it made your lockdown experience more rewarding. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly right. So,
Yeah. I reckon we're at the point now where this is the time for you to give us your take-home point and just a message to people out there. You know, maybe if it could be your clients or other gym owners and people in the industry. What would you have to impart?
Do you want to talk like general people, like for everyday people, or
Yeah.
Just whatever you want. Any,
What's
like
a
any
nice take-home message?
that you...
just do what you love what you do. It's actually my Instagram bio as well. Don't listen to anyone. Follow your own heart and make things work. Just work hard. You know, have passion and do what makes you happy. That's what I have to say. Don't be miserable. We've only got one thing. This thing called life. Just gotta go for it. That's it.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Amazing.
Excellent. Thank you for coming in, bro.
Thank you very much, man.
Thanks, man.
I appreciate
Beautiful.
it.